Griffin now calling at the middle. Tries to dance through, somebody loses it. Newham on their way back. Here's Archie. Takes the blue line. Sends it out front to George. George turns. Oh, sorry, Colin. Colin turns and couldn't quite get the shot off. James is going to bring it back in. Right back to James again. He's got to wait and take the offsides. So for some reason, it just stops recording every periodically. And I also apologize that I don't have a great mic. All the inputs available are for different input. Otto couldn't quite held in by Cam. Cam's going to come back. James. Colin now behind the net. Up to Otto. Back to Colin. Colin's going to send this one in deep. Couldn't hold it in on that side. Cam's going to go back and retrieve it behind his net. Brings it out. Cam still. Brings it to the front. Still loose. Newham is going to take an icing. Okay, so with about 11 minutes left in this first period, we just got started. So if you're just tuning in here, was a bit of a late start here in Hockey Day Newham, but the good news is Minneapolis is up, taking a 2-0 lead here in the first 5 minutes or so. Puck to Ben. Ben down to George. George over to Will. Back to George. Good pass there. Good save by the goalie. Will takes it back. Out to Beck. Back to Will. Will sends it into the middle. Griffin now. Griffin over to Beck. Back up to Will. Here we go, guys. Will to George. Couldn't quite connect on that. All right, now Archie. Archie comes into the middle. Dumps it back into the corner. Will's going to pick it up. Boy, there's a lot of room out there. It looks like this ice is big. It's because it is. This is an Olympic-sized rink, and we looked it up. There's an extra 15 feet on either edge, which means there's a lot of space, same amount of players. All right, there's a whistle. 9:30 now left. James centered it out of the zone. Colin Moose going to attack from the back. Kept in by James. It's going to ring around the other side. Cam isn't there to keep it in. Bring it out to neutral. Archie's going to put a shot on net. And they'll look down by the goal. All right, back now at the point. Just gonna send it down low to Colin O'Day. Colin comes through the middle. He's gonna get a shot off. Didn't quite connect on that rebound, but Colin has it back now. Otto down to Colin. Colin walks in the middle again and shoots and scores. This might be a swap the forward with the D type of game. So far we're about 7 minutes in. We got 3-0 lead with shots 7-0 too. They're keeping track of shots. Well, that makes 2 for Colin. Bill's keeping track. Little fumble there by James. I'm gonna forget how to play D here all of a sudden. There we go. Now we got Will. Will back to James. James is gonna get a shot on. There's a rebound. George can't quite tuck it in. I think this New Ulm team isn't quite used to the physicality that we play up in the cities, it seems. Lots of yelling after checks. There's George circling behind, looking for some help. Up to Griffin. Griffin's going to get it deep. New Ulm's going to take a whistle. All right. New Ulm's on the board on the shot side of things, at least. Got some fresh legs out there. Colin Moose on the left. Tyson's going to center this with Archie on the right side. Comes back to Griffin. Griffin's going to get a shot in, and quick whistle by New Ulm. Same group. Tyson on the face-off. Turns it over to Colin. Fights off. Oh, another centering shot. Tyson had a chance. A little off-footed there, but good try. All right, D switched up this time, so now we got James and Cam out there with same forwards. Puck comes around the corner to Cam. And shoots into the middle. It's intercepted. Here's Archie. Archie sends it back to Colin Moose, who sidesteps a player, gets a shot off, rebounds there. Tyson couldn't quite handle it. Comes back to Cam. Cam circles around the top, dumps it off for Colin Moose. Colin Moose sends it down deep. Tyson's going to go pick it up. I don't know why, but we just are winning everything here. James gets a shot on. Looked like somebody got a stick on it, but that New Ulm goalie is able to maintain control and get a whistle. All right, new group here now. Colin O'Day on the face-off. Do this again. Colin at the face-off in the center dot there. We got Jackson on the right side and Otto on the left, with James and Cam still on the points here. Colin wins the face-off back to James. James is going to try to send one in, goes off some legs. Jackson picks it up, couldn't quite sidestep a guy. New Ulm's able to clear. James is going to bring it out, send it out into the neutral zone. I got to make sure I'm watching the camera here. Here's Cam. Cam up to Otto. Otto's going to muscle one up. Colin O'Day picks it up. He's got some looks. He's got Jackson, but Jackson sends one wide. Otto now again. Colin. Looking for some help in front. Circles behind the net. Comes out to back. The top. That's going to look. Send one down in. Hit some skates. This is Jackson. Does some size up. Still can maintains control. Gets a shot in. Hits the side of the net there. Beck holds his own after some hesitancy. Here's Colin. Colin's in. Looking for the Hattie already. Newholm's going to send one down on George. George is playing goalie today, by the way. He actually had a good save earlier. Here's Will. Will's going to show. He tried to speed one over for George, but just ahead of him. Here's George. Will picks it up. He's going to dump it there for Ben. Got a little ahead of him. They're going to race for it. Ben picks it up now. Back to George. George is going to send one out to Will, but just couldn't quite connect on that one. Puck goes behind the net again. Will to George to Ben. Ben gets a shot. Ooh, and it just barely goes over the net. Tipper. Pass out to the D, goes past Griffin. Griffin sidesteps the Newholm player. He's going to take it himself. Drops it back for George. George sends it back down behind the net for Will. Will brings it out. It's James at the top. James is going to send one in wide. Griffin takes a look, decides to go down to George again, up to Will. Will hits some traffic going through. James holds the line again. Up to Griffin. Griffin's going to send this one deep for George. George picks it up. Still has it. Looking for... Tried to get Will on the other side, or that's Archie, sorry. Cam sends it back in. Been a while since we've had a whistle here, so I got to regroup on the players. This is Cam. Tyson now picks it up. Back to Cam. Cam's going to send it into Tyson. Goes past him. Archie's going to go far side. This just isn't really a fair fight right now. That was James. That should have been a high stick call, but they kept playing. Here's Archie. Drops it for Colin Moose. Colin sends it out to the middle. It goes through the traffic out to James. James sends it right back in. Colin Moose picks it up again, circling behind, looking for some help. Quite get that one over to Archie, and Newholm comes out. Almost took another, oh boy guys. Almost took another icing there, but kind of like whenever this puck goes into our zone, we don't know what to do with it. We haven't been down there for most of the game. Ooh, good pass there by Colin O'Day over to Otto. Now we got Griffin and Beck there on the points. Colin O'Day centers this one with Otto on the left, and this is Jackson comes out of it on the right side, tries to get a shot in. Newholm's going to take a whistle. So things have settled out here a little bit. You can probably, if you can zoom in over there, you can see the shots. There are 15 for Minneapolis, 3-0 Puck comes out to the middle. Beck's going to pick it up. He's going to send it over to Otto. Otto down to Colin O'Day. Looking for more. Colin O'Day picks up that rebound. He's going to dump it back down. Otto. Colin out the back. Back to Colin. Colin circles behind. Just going to send one in. Otto picks it up. He's going to send it out for Beck. Beck can't hold that line. Griffin's back. He sends this one up to Otto. Otto's going to go for a change. I'm going to try to fix the tilt here if I can. All right. New Ulm's got it. Chance coming into the zone here. Puck comes up to George, and that's going to do it for the first period. 3-0's the score still. I'm going to try to mess with this this stand here some if I could. There we go. Alright, that's better. Oh, I'm gonna get a little prepared here from the zoom standpoint. Alright, that's better. Now we got a good look at the whole rink. Looks like we're going to do some switcheroo here. We got Colin Moose and Tyson back on the D to start the second period. Like I thought earlier, this is kind of one of those games that can flip. Colin O'Day on the right-hand side here. Puck gets swung around the right side. Colin comes in, still looking for that third goal today, but good save by the goalie. Same group here. George is going to take the face-off. Colin O'Day on the right-hand side, and Cam is playing left wing now. Comes back to out to Cam, just wide on the shot. George now looking for Cam in the middle. Cam gloves it down. George out to Colin, but couldn't quite pull the trigger on that one. Tyson now. Tyson up to Colin O'Day. That gets outside the zone. Still pressuring him. Here's Colin up to George. Bucket sent across the other side. Cam picks it up, and he's going to flutter this one deep into the New Ulm zone. That's it, offsides. All right, so they're mixing things up here a little bit on me. I got to figure out who's playing what again. It looks like now we got Jackson is centering Beck on the right-hand side. Ben Scar is on the D, along with what looks to be Otto. Beck's going to bring this into the zone. Going to take a look. Drops it for Jackson. Goes over for, looks like James is on the left side. James is playing left wing here. Otto. Where are you, Beck? Rebound was there for the taking for a few seconds. Beck's able to finally tap that one in. All right, I'll say it. I'm his dad. He could have had that first rebound back, but you weren't there. All right. Colin Moose now wins the zone up to Griffin's playing left wing now. Archie. Puckett comes in on the New Ulm goalie and gets a whistle. So just gonna get caught up. We started about a half hour late. Minneapolis scored a couple of goals early in the first few minutes, added another one in the first period to end it at 3-0, and then Beck just put in another one for 4. But if it looks a little funny about where guys are playing, it's because it looks like they moved all the D up to play forward. So this is Colin Moose back on D. His playing partner right now is Tyson back on D. Here's Colin again. Circle. Somebody's got to come back and back him up on there. Here's Will. Will back to Colin. Colin over to Will. He's going to gain a little bit more space there. Sends one in. Goalie in good position to take that. Get the whistle. All right, this time we got George in the middle, Cam on the left side, Colin O'Day on the right with Ben, Scarre, and Otto is on D. George is going to take the middle. He tried to find Cam quick. That gets intercepted, and New Ulm's going to take an icing call. 12 minutes left in the second period. Face-off goes behind the net. This is Colin O'Day, picks it up, dangles into the front. Done that a few times today already. Ben Scar back in the middle. Couldn't quite handle it down in the slot there. Cam moves it out. Now Cam down in the corner. George picks it up. He's got Colin. Couldn't quite get the shot off there. Cam now. This kid right here, his name is Schroepfer or something. Very close to our name. But right there, see it? On the bottom of the screen. Not to be mistaken with Shetner, who's right next to him. All right. Now we got Jackson centering Beck and James, it appears. Here's James. James is going to pick it up. Sends it over to Beck on the other side. Beck out to Colin Moose. Moose goes to the middle. Sends it back down into the corner for Beck. Beck sends it out in the middle, gets a shot up and taken down by the goalie. Same group. We got Tyson on the top there with Colin Moose on the D. Here's Colin. Comes up to James. James thought about pulling the trigger there. Here's Colin Moose now. Gets it to Jackson. Jackson sends it in for back here, back to James. James couldn't quite get a good shot off there. Here's Jackson again, is going to send it down deep for James. James is going to bring it out. into the middle, and I think Beck tapped that one in. So now it's 5 rip. In a pretty uneven game here, we ended up flip-flopping the fours with the D. Haven't seen that already. Colin O'Day with a couple. Beck, I think, now has 2. And I'm blanking on who had that second goal overall. All right, Ben Scar out to Will. Will tried to take a slap, whiffed on it. Goalie didn't quite have it, but whistle blows anyways. Here's Archie on the face-off. Noam still wants to make a change, so we're going to get some new players in. Looks like we got Griffin on the left side, Will on the right side. Ben and Otto are still on the top. Here's Will, looking for somebody open. Otto couldn't handle it on the top. Griffin. Will up to Griffin. Griffin's going to gain the zone. Griffin's going to move around the side, banks it off the boards to himself. That looked like Will coming out. No, and they're going to call New Ulm for something. Here's Otto. Ben couldn't hold that one, so they're going to come out. George is going to come off for an extra skater while we work out this penalty on New Ulm. Ben over to Griffin, but that didn't connect and get a whistle. All right, so one of those calls where hard to blame New Ulm. As long as they don't get super chippy, it's hard to call much of penalties on them. So now we got Cam on the left, George in the middle there, center, Colin O'Day on the right side with Colin Moose, man on the point with Tyson. Cam now. George couldn't quite connect on that along the boards. Tyson sends it back down to George. Now Cam up to George. George elected to turn around and go back. Here's Colin Moose. Has it forwarded out. Gets it back. Now to Tyson. Back to Colin. A little hard off the board there. Tyson's going to hold the line though. Colin gains it. Cam gets a shot on it on that. This guy's got to collapse the net more. Kind of looking around. Everybody's looking around. Okay, this is James with Jackson in the middle, and Beck on the right side. Otto now sends this one deep. Ben is his defensive partner. Comes around for Ben. Ben holds the line. Jackson's going to work it down behind. Comes to Jackson now. That was James. James out to Otto. Otto again tries to get it up for James. Here's Jackson. Jackson loses it, gets it back. Sends it to back. That can't handle it, and the puck comes out of the zone. Ben up to Otto. Still trying to figure out who's going to take that puck. Newholm comes out of it and gets an icing.